Ladies and gentlemen, respect isn't something you ask for, it's something you earn. Often, without a single word, people are watching more than they're listening. They study how you walk into a room, how you sit in a chair, how you react when things don't go your way. And before you even speak, they've already decided how much respect to give you. Do this and you'll gain respect. Stand tall, posture is a language. Shoulders back, chin up, calm presence. It tells people, I'm here, I belong, and I don't need approval to prove it. Weak posture whispers doubt. Strong posture commands attention. Next, look them in the eye. Not with a stare down, not with arrogance, but with steady confidence. Eye contact tells the world, I see you and I'm not hiding. Trust is built silently in those moments. Then practice the pause. Don't rush to feel silence. When someone says something that challenges you, take a breath. That pause is power. It shows you control your emotions, instead of letting emotions control you. People respect that kind of restraint more than any quick comeback. Your movements matter. Fidgeting, tapping, restless gestures, they all leak insecurity. Calm, deliberate movements show you're composed. Even small things, how you place your phone down, how you shake a hand, how you sit, send signals about your discipline. Respect is also about space. You don't need to be loud or aggressive. Just hold your boundaries. Stand your ground physically and emotionally, without saying a word. You're teaching others how to treat you. And finally, be consistent. Anyone can act confident once, but when you repeatedly show up, calm, steady, disciplined, that reputation speaks for you. People begin to expect respect from you, because that's the standard you've set. Posture speaks before your voice ever does, and it sends a message louder than most people realize. The way you walk into a room, the way you sit at a table, the way you carry yourself when others are watching, or even when no one seems to be, it all tells people something about you. Stand slouched, shoulders curved, head down, and the world sees uncertainty before you ever get the chance to explain yourself. Stand tall, shoulders back, chin slightly lifted, and you send an entirely different message. You tell people you're present, that you belong here, that you respect yourself enough to carry yourself with strength. People may not always notice posture consciously, but subconsciously it sets the tone for how they treat you. Confidence doesn't begin with words, it begins with presence. And presence starts with posture. Think about the moments when you've seen someone walk into a room and immediately capture attention without saying anything. It wasn't because they were the loudest. It was because they carried themselves with certainty. Posture has the power to communicate self-assurance, boundaries, and composure. A firm, balanced stance tells others you cannot be easily shaken. Upright posture communicates alertness, discipline, and a level of self-control that demands respect. Even when life feels chaotic, the way you hold yourself can create the appearance of calm. And that appearance often becomes reality the longer you maintain it. Your body is a signal not just to others but to yourself. Studies show that posture doesn't only influence perception, it influences your mindset. When you stand tall, you feel taller. When you carry yourself with strength, you feel stronger. That energy projects outward and affects how people respond to you. Weak posture invites dismiss. Strong posture invites respect. You don't need to speak loudly, interrupt, or try to prove your worth, when your physical presence already sets the expectation of being taken seriously. Posture also connects to respect in another way. Discipline. It's not about being stiff or robotic, but about having intentional control over how you carry yourself. Every time you straighten your back, you're reminding yourself that you choose how you show up. Every time you resist the urge to shrink when you feel uncomfortable, you're proving that you won't let the moment dictate your value. That quiet discipline is noticed even when unspoken. And here's the truth. People mirror energy. If you walk in with slumped shoulders, you invite others to look past you. If you walk in with presence, they're more likely to pause and listen. Respect flows naturally toward those who appear grounded. And posture is the first, most immediate step in showing that. So if you want respect without uttering a single word, start with your posture. Stand tall, carry yourself with quiet confidence, and let your presence do the talking. Because long before you open your mouth, your body has already started the conversation. And when that message is strength, calm, and certainty, Respect follows without question. Eye contact builds trust in a way that words often cannot. The moment your eyes meet someone else's, you create a silent connection that speaks of honesty, confidence, and presence. People instinctively search for sincerity in your gaze, and when you meet them directly, it reassures them that you have nothing to hide. Avoiding eye contact, on the other hand, sends a very different signal. It can make you seem unsure, distracted, or even dishonest, even if that's not your intent. Humans are wired to read eyes as windows into truth, and that is why eye contact is one of the most powerful tools for gaining respect without saying a word. Think about the people who hold your attention the longest. It's rarely because of how fast they talk or how clever their words are. It's because when they look at you, it feels like you're the only person in the room. That kind of presence makes people lean. It makes them feel seen, valued, and respected. When you give people that gift, they instinctively return it. Respect flows back because they feel safe in your presence. Eye contact is not just about confidence, it's about connection, but there's a balance to strike. Too little eye contact, and you fade into the background. Too much, and it feels like a challenge, even aggression. The sweet spot lies in steady, calm, natural contact. Long enough to show you're engaged, soft enough to keep it human. A brief look away at the right moment keeps the interaction warm and comfortable, but returning your gaze reminds them you're still there, fully present. What makes eye contact so powerful is that it doesn't just affect how others see you. It affects how you see yourself. Holding someone's gaze reinforces your own confidence. It tells your body and your mind, I belong here. I can stand in this moment, without fear. Over time, that simple act of looking people in the eye strengthens, not just your relationships, but your inner self-assurance. In high-pressure situations like job interviews, negotiations, or difficult conversations, eye contact becomes your anchor. Even if your voice shakes, or your words stumble, steady eye contact communicates calmness and control. It shows you're not running from the moment. That alone earns respect because people admire composure under pressure. And here's the deeper truth. Respect is not just about being seen as strong, it's about making others feel seen. When you meet someone's eyes and truly look at them, you're saying without words, you matter and I am here with you. That kind of silent affirmation carries weight. It turns ordinary exchanges into meaningful ones, and in the process it raises how others perceive you. So if you want to gain respect without speaking, train yourself to hold eye contact with confidence and calmness. Let your eyes communicate trust, presence, and certainty. Because long before your words are heard, your eyes have already told your story. And when that story is one of strength and sincerity, respect will always follow. Silence holds a kind of power that most people overlook. In a world where everyone is rushing to speak to prove a point, to defend themselves, or to fill the empty space, the person who can stay calm and quiet immediately stands out. Choosing not to respond right away is not weakness. It is strength. It is self-respect wrapped in discipline. It tells people that you are not moved by pressure, that your emotions don't run the show, and that you decide when and how to speak. That choice alone earns respect, because restraint always feels stronger than impulse. When you remain silent, something interesting happens. People begin to lean in. Human nature dislikes silence, and when you hold it, others feel the weight of it. They start to consider their own words more carefully. They start to question their own reactions, and they begin to notice your composure. Silence doesn't just stop noise, it creates space. And in that space, others recognize your control. They realize they can't easily push you. They can't predict your immediate reaction, and they can't manipulate you into emotional outbursts. Silence also gives you the upper hand in clarity. When you don't rush to respond, you give yourself time to process, to think, and to choose your words wisely. Quick reactions often lead to regrets. Calm pauses lead to thoughtful responses. The person who can wait before speaking shows maturity, and maturity always commands respect. By pausing, you send the message, I don't need to win this moment. I choose to own it. In conflicts or heated conversations, silence becomes even more powerful. When someone expects you to explode, argue, or defend, and you instead stay still and quiet, it unsettles them. They realize their anger has no grip on you. Your silence is not surrender, it is refusal to give away your energy. That kind of control makes people reevaluate how they approach you, because they see they cannot pull you into chaos. But silence isn't just for confrontation. It also strengthens connection in conversations. Allowing silence shows you're listening. It tells the other person you're giving weight to their words, that you don't need to rush past what they're saying. That respect often comes back to you in trust, because people feel truly heard when you can pause and let their voice matter. Silence also builds anticipation. When you withhold your immediate response, others wait for it. They value it more because it doesn't come cheap. Words spoken after silence often carry more weight than words thrown into noise. People listen closer because your stillness made them curious. So remember, silence is not empty. It is full of meaning. It is presence without noise, control without effort, power without force. If you want to gain respect without saying a word, learn to master silence. Use it to show discipline, to create space, to command attention, and to protect your energy. Because the loudest voice in the room is not always the one speaking. It is often the one strong enough to stay silent. Controlled movements matter, because they tell the world who you are before you ever explain yourself. Every gesture, every action, every small movement communicates something. Restless tapping, constant fidgeting, or rushed gestures reveal nerves, insecurity, or a lack of discipline. Calm, steady, deliberate actions, on the other hand, communicate composure. They say you're in control of yourself, that you are not swayed by tension, and that you know how to hold your ground without chaos. People respect those who move with intention, because intention feels like strength. Think about someone who walks into a room with quiet assurance. They don't storm in, they don't rush, they don't demand attention with loud or erratic movements. Instead, they carry themselves with calm presence. They shake hands firmly, but not aggressive. They place their phone down without slamming it. They move their hands in conversation with purpose, not with scattered flailing. Those little signals tell everyone watching, I am centered, and I don't need to prove it. That sense of calm creates trust and naturally draws respect. Controlled movements also reveal discipline. Anyone can act calm when everything is easy. But when tension rises, your body language tells the truth. If you can remain steady when you're frustrated, if you can avoid frantic gestures when you're under pressure, you show that your emotions don't control you. That steadiness becomes a kind of quiet authority. People begin to see you as the person who can be counted on, the one who won't fall apart when things get tough. It's not about being stiff or robotic, it's about being intentional. The way you sit, the way you lean forward to listen, the way you nod at the right time, the way you keep your hands still instead of nervously shuffling. All of it adds up to a presence that says you are confident and composed. Even something as small as the way you lift a cup or close a door can reflect self-control. Slamming, rushing, fidgeting. These small leaks of energy reduce authority. Smooth, steady movements do the opposite. Controlled movements also protect your energy. When you're calm in your actions, you don't waste energy on unnecessary motion. You conserve it. You direct it. You use it when it matters. That control becomes magnetic. People sense when someone isn't frantic, when their energy is contained, and they gravitate toward it. It feels grounded, and safety always invites respect. And here's the deeper truth. People trust those who appear composed. If your gestures are calm, your actions steady, and your body language consistent, others will assume your mind is equally steady. They'll give more weight to your words, because your movements already proved your balance. Respect grows naturally from that perception. So remember, controlled movements are not about suppressing yourself. They're about owning yourself. Move with calmness, act with intention, and let your steadiness speak for you. Because when your body shows control, people see strength. And when people see strength, they give respect without you ever needing to ask for it. Boundaries are visible even when you don't speak a word. The way you hold yourself, the space you create, and the energy you project. Tell people where respect begins and where it ends. You don't need to announce your boundaries loudly or explain them repeatedly. They show in how you carry yourself, how you respond to pressure, and how you allow others to approach you. People sense when you have limits, and they sense when you don't. The difference lies in your presence. When you stand with calm confidence, not shrinking but not overreaching, you are silently telling others, this is my space. Boundaries aren't just physical, they're emotional. They're reflected in the way you pause before reacting. The way you don't let others invade your calm. The way you say no without apology. Not always through words, but through body language and composure. Someone who constantly fidgets, avoids eye contact, or collapses inward, sends the signal that others can step in and take control. Someone who stands firm, keeps their posture strong, and allows silence to fill the space, communicates the exact opposite. That is how boundaries are seen without being spoken. Boundaries also show in your reactions. If someone raises their voice and you don't match it, you've set a limit. If someone pushes and you don't immediately bend, you've drawn a line. Boundaries are not always about confrontation. Often, they're about restraint. The way you hold yourself in tense situations tells others how far they can go with you. Calmness under pressure says, I'm not here to be walked over, and I'm not here to fight for scraps of respect, either. That balance of strength, without aggression, is what earns lasting respect. Even the way you use your personal space communicates boundaries. Sitting upright instead of shrinking into your chair, taking up the space you need, without apology, walking with steady steps, instead of rushing or stumbling. All of this signals that you respect yourself, and people mirror that respect back to you. People are quick to test limits, but they are just as quick to honor limits when they see them clearly. Boundaries are also about consistency. If you hold yourself strong one day and collapse the next, people won't know where your line truly is. But when your presence consistently shows calm strength, when your posture, your silence, and your actions all align with dignity, the line becomes unmistakable. You no longer have to explain it. People simply recognize it. The truth is, respect starts with self-respect. If you respect your own space, your own energy, and your own limits, others have no choice but to follow suit. Boundaries don't need to be shouted to be understood. They are visible in the way you carry yourself every single day. So remember, the respect you receive begins with the respect you show yourself. Stand firm, hold your space, and let your presence communicate your boundaries. Because when people see those lines clearly, they don't just notice them, they honor them. Consistency commands attention, because people don't respect one strong moment. They respect the pattern they see repeated over time. Anyone can stand tall once, make eye contact once, or stay calm once, but if you only do it when it's easy, it doesn't carry weight. What sets you apart is the ability to show up with the same calmness, strength, and discipline day after day, especially when life doesn't make it easy. That's when your reputation starts to build. People notice when you don't just act composed, you live and that silent consistency speaks louder than any speech you could give. Consistency is what turns actions into identity. If you stay grounded in one difficult moment, people might respect you for it, but they'll watch closely to see if it lasts. When they realize that your calmness isn't a performance but a pattern, that's when real respect grows. Because respect is tied to trust, and trust is built on reliability. If people can count on you to carry yourself with steadiness, no matter the situation, they begin to see you different. They stop questioning whether you can handle pressure, and start assuming that you can. This kind of consistency also separates strength from arrogance. Anyone can put on a show of confidence, but arrogance cracks under repeated testing. Consistency, however, doesn't crack, it holds. And people naturally pay attention to what holds. When others get loud, you remain steady. When others overreact, you stay balanced. When others cut corners, you keep your discipline. That repeated difference becomes impossible to ignore. The beauty of consistency is that it doesn't demand attention. It earns it. You don't need to announce your strength or remind people of your discipline. They see it for themselves over time. They notice that you don't change your character dependent on who's in the room. They notice that you don't lose control just because the situation does. And because of that, they begin to respect you before you even speak. Consistency also builds authority. Think of the people you admire most. Chances are it's not because of one big gesture, but because of their steady way of showing up. Leaders, mentors, or even quiet figures of influence all have one thing in common: reliability. You trust them because they are consistent, and in return they command attention without asking for it. Your own life works the same way. The more consistently you show up with discipline, the more authority you naturally carry. But consistency isn't about perfection, it's about commitment. You won't be flawless, but you can be steady. And steadiness is what people respect most. Even when things fall apart, even when you make mistakes, consistency in how you handle yourself is what defines your reputation. So if you want to gain respect without speaking, don't just show strength once. Live it daily. Let calmness, discipline, and steadiness become your pattern. Because when people know exactly what to expect from you, your presence itself becomes your unspoken reputation. And that reputation will always speak louder than words. Respect isn't earned by being the loudest in the room, or by forcing people to notice you. It's earned in the quiet, consistent ways you carry yourself every single day.
Through posture, you tell the world you belong. Through eye contact, you build trust without saying a word. Through silence, you show discipline and strength. Through controlled movements, you prove composure. Through visible boundaries, you teach others how to treat you. And through consistency, you turn all of these actions into your unspoken reputation. When you live this way, you don't need to demand respect. It comes to you naturally, because people can see it before you ever open your mouth. Respect is not something you chase, it's something you embody. Thank you.